Hello, my name is Elizabeth Emig, and this is my introductory speech. Let me first start by painting you a picture. Imagine that you see two people in line conversing with each other with sign language. You may be wondering how they're using these hand gestures to create sentences, and you're watching them converse and sign with each other so fast back and forth that it's just mesmerizing. Well, don't watch. Watching people and deaf people sign is like eavesdropping to hearing people. I know, it's hard not to watch though. Here in America, we are taught American Sign Language, which is now also taught in high schools. However, only some students take this course and even fewer retain the information from it. I took American Sign Language when I was in high school, and I took it for 3 years, so I was able to retain a lot of the information, and I still use it today, and I'm able to converse and sign with deaf and hard of hearing people. One of the most important things that I learned was how to sign correctly. Yes, we need to know a lot of signs. That's how we speak the words, but how you convey the real message is with your facial expressions and your body language. Let's go back to the earlier visualization of the two people that were standing in line talking with each other, and we can make it more captivating and have you understand it a little better if you understand the range of emotions and inflections that they portray. Just a simple lift of the eyebrows can change a statement like, I'm going home, to a question, can I go home? And that's a very important distinction, especially to our bosses. And you may be thinking, this is a pretty cool trait to possess, but how is it beneficial and how does it enhance your life? Well, the lessons I learned in American Sign Language have stuck with me and they've really transcended. The use of the body language and the facial expressions I can use now to convey my message in a stronger way while speaking in American Sign Language and also speaking in spoken English. Imagine that you're sitting there and you're listening to someone just drone on in a monotone voice with little to no facial expression. It can get pretty boring pretty quick. Now, if that same person were to use inflection with their voice and gestures, it would keep your attention a little better, right? It would mine. Now I'm in some leadership roles at work, so I give a lot of group presentations and present ideas and even educate some of my peers. So it's very beneficial to me to have these nonverbal communication skills so that I'm able to engage and express myself a little bit better. More than just the nonverbal communication, I'm able to use the skills that I acquired in American Sign Language and translate. And I was able actually to translate for a patient that came in. We forgot to order a translator or interpreter for this patient, and normally we would have to just reschedule that appointment to a later date, which is an inconvenience for the patient. But since I knew American Sign Language, I was able to step in and translate for the patient so they're able to see their provider. Of course, they are very happy about that. I've also used my American Sign Language skills to translate for deaf people around the community that I see in grocery stores or gas stations, and they're not able to communicate well with the sales clerk. So usually in a situation, they tell the sales clerk in some way or indicate that they're deaf, either by signing they're deaf or indicating it somehow. And then what I see normally is the sales clerk just tries to speak louder or slower. And sometimes this works if the deaf person's able to read their lips, but majority of the time it just leads to miscommunication. And that sounds pretty frustrating, right? Imagine if you're in that position and your whole life you spend in this silent bubble and you're not able to connect with the spoken or the hearing world. And you just try to go to the grocery store and it ends up in miscommunication and confusion. That sounds very frustrating. So when I'm able to step in and translate for them and interpret things for the sales clerk, their frustrations go away. They don't have to try to mime everything that they want. And of course, they're very appreciative. All in all, taking sign language in high school has taught me not only a new language, but it's taught me how to speak my native tongue a little better. And because I was able to retain so much of it, that I'm now able to translate for some people, some deaf people at my work, or some people around the neighborhood or around the community that just need their message gotten across a little better. American Sign Language is a beautiful language because of its fluidity and its capacity for expression. Taking sign language in high school has taught me also how to better utilize my nonverbal communication skills, which I can convey in my spoken messages better. It can be massively frustrating to not be able to communicate with people around you or not to be able to understand those around you. And when I'm able to use my knowledge of American Sign Language and translate for those patients or work with those people, I can get their message across and I can help them avoid all that frustration. I will continue to use sign language so that I can keep my skills up of sign language and also my nonverbal communication skills up. Now, given the large population of deaf or hard of hearing people, don't you think it would be beneficial too for you to just learn some basic signs or even just the alphabet? It can bring that one deaf person out of that silent bubble they live in for at least a moment so they can have that joy and be able to converse with somebody. Thank you for listening to my introductory speech.